right? Who takes a lot more time to get going. Even the Karthus, who did really get nerfed on this patch. And this is really interesting, because I was actually thinking that that Nautilus ban was going to be one of the first things dropped in the subsequent because of the Renata specifically. But the fact that they are willing to ban the Renata is a huge shout out to the form that Callum is in at the moment. This should come as no surprise. This Sejuani, Tristana swap is something that we've seen a lot of. Teams are very outspoken. Peanut said it yesterday as well. We don't feel like Sejuani right now has a real counter. And jungle matchup, insanely important. And to be fair, SHOWMAKER, I'm excited to see what you've got cooked up. Because if this is like something basic, I'll be a little disappointed. Because you know this was coming.
I think it's one of the Wind Bros. And I only say one of them because SHOWMAKER is a Yasuo guy.
Yeah.
You know? And Kingan's a Gragas guy. And that's a tree. And this is what we saw banned a lot yesterday. Canyon, one of our resident Ivern players, a friend of the forest, if you will. And so this could put a bit of a spanner in the works for DPLUS, because we know how weird it is to play into a lot of these Ivern compositions, especially when it is paired up with the Tristana. Zeri going to be locked away, though, for aiming. And SHOWMAKER is going to hover Syndra for a little bit, but I don't know. Are they just going to lock away the bottom lane? Is it just going to be Zeri Rakan here on this rotation and then try to pick something weird for their solo lanes?
Could be Zeri Lulu as well. I actually think that with the form they're in right now, Kingan and SHOWMAKER are really hard to consistently ban out. So I wouldn't necessarily mind it. This is in line with the priorities that we've seen. I quite like this because it forces GENG right now to either pick an AD carry, which is what I think you'd want to do. With the Ivern, you really want to make sure that you have two great carries to go with it. Tristana already is going to feel amazing, but kind of want to add to that. But that does take away your opportunity to get access to the best counters to Gnar. It's going to be the Leona instead. So the Hens picking that one up isn't extremely hard. That's something that we often see when all the other engage supports have been taken off the board. As you already mentioned, I think is a strong pick in isolation, but I do think she can really struggle when playing into things like the Zeri that come late game just blow her up in seconds, don't really give her a lot of opportunity. As there is the GP, yeah, that's actually, as we said earlier, my expectation was that DK was going to pick the Gnar and then ban away some of the counters. Not going to be the case. So I'm going to obviously trust Keen on GP. That's kind of a no-brainer. And there could still be a chance that the Tristana, gets flexed, depending what the counter pick is that's locked in as. Oh, boy.
That would be pretty fabulous. A bit of Taric here. We did see Beryl already play that one. SHOWMAKER, of course. The Taliyah is up, and so he is going to pick it. That's going to be his choice into the Tristana. We've seen this matchup actually go pretty well for the Taliyah at the same time, and it is SHOWMAKER's most played. Has about a 75% win rate on the champion as well. Has looked pretty good.
So I like it in isolation and what you want to do. The matchup is fine, but I do worry that the Sejuani is going to have a really tough time having the impact. I think the mid-jungle matchup is so important. It's going to be the Alistar instead. Kalin has had a very big range of Alistar performance. Recently, he's been trending towards very great. So
if you started watching him in 2024, you'd think he's a pretty amazing Alistar player.
And it is actually going to be
And there's the Ziggs. Okay.
Yeah, as you were saying. So even with the Ivern, traditionally we see this with double AD carry. Not going to be the case. Going to be the Ziggs here instead. You have an insane amount of AD with the Gangplank anyway. So, and because you have Tristana, I still think you get plenty of value. It's really interesting, Atlas. I look at these two compositions, and I think that if DK don't blow up the game in mid to early, even with aiming being on Zeri, like, it becomes so hard to play. Because trying to engage on a composition with Gangplank, Ziggs, and Ivern, that's not a good time. That's not going to be fun. The barrels, the bombs, the brushes.
Let's see where they can get it done. So we hop into the Rift. Man, that is some Saturday Showdown vibes right there. As we have got the full group up on this top side of the map. Kingan a little bit going rogue right now, but everyone is just seeing whether a cheeky first blood was on the menu. It turns out that that wasn't what was offered today, but that's fine. Sometimes you don't get the specials that you want. And GENG are going to slink back into their jungle now. Man, I'm so intrigued because we've seen... Like, yesterday, the Gangplank pick into the Gnar went very, very well. even though, you know, the Gnar can still lane relatively okay, the Gangplank does just tend to have a little bit more value there. And we'll see whether Keen is going to once again be able to find it. Because I just love that the Pirate is back, man. It's just so good to have a bit of added variety. You know, Gnar we saw a lot, but after just Cassante Skana every single game, let my in-game do the talking rather than doing any of the talking. But this isn't talking. This is a whole lot of action here as Lehent's going to get headbutted back. That was a gorgeous seismic shove. And the bouncing bomb!
Oh, a little bit of volatility here. I do love that. That's what they need. Kenyon's on his way, though.
It was Satchel charged out of the pasture, and now he's looking for a Pirate as the barrels come in. There's the headbutt back. Pulverize is good, and Keen, this is going to be a tough one. Not able to quite find it is Canyon there. There's the flash out. Kingen still wants it, but he won't quite get there. The brushes are set up, and in fact, he just creates a forest up here. Still gets the flash. Good news for DPLUS regardless.
Flash available. Gangplank, even with his CC cleanse, is really susceptible, so Keen really can't stand to be up too much. So again, huge credit to Kellen for that roam. And then in mid, because of the earlier play from Kane and all the attention being paid, SHOWMAKER is about a wave behind, but that's not the end of the world. And I think right now, DK looking good in absorbing the early pressure from GENG, but I do think they need more than that, and we'll see if they're actually able to get that. As 6 is available, aiming is going to be a lot stronger. Kellen's roams, though, do mean that he's pretty substantially far behind on experience.
Yep, going to be the grubs taken here. Looks like GENG will be happy to trade that one for this first dragon. Going to be an Infernal to come up first. Although Canyon is now just going to head down towards the bottom side, collect his level 6 so that Daisy can help him out. Thank you very much, Pays, for that one. And now Lucid looking for a dive. Cannon Barrage comes in from Keen. Just on the wave here for the moment. Lucid's going to have to flash, get himself out of the way. Orange is going to be eaten to get him out of prison. And now Lucid gets over the wall, but it's not going to keep him alive. And first blood goes to Lehens. And in the meantime, GENG are taking the dragon.
Oh, GENG are reading DPLUS like a book there. Again, the timing from these reinforcements towards Keen, the lone pirate, lonely no more, gets help in 2 crucial points, and it makes sense. The biggest weakness that you have with Cheap Grub, it looks like we are not going to see high Grub numbers this time around. This next Drake is huge here for DK. I really think that this is an objective
because he got there so late, and then the demolition comp doesn't have access to it. As Canyon gonna flash the wrong direction, isn't actually hit by the glacial prism, but the wall is put up in front of him. Still, he's got shields for days, and SHOWMAKER will be taken down. I don't know how it worked, but it worked. And GENG will grab their second kill of the game, and this may not be all they're going to get as well. Pulverize comes in, Blast Cone is taken, and the cow is left by the wayside. Pays is going to pick up that kill. And GENG, it's a wash here as far as the kills are concerned.
Between the Zixel, which isn't really a global, but the range is still huge, and you have a lot of setup between the Leona as well as the Ivern.
There are circles. There's a lot of circles.
So I think DK need to go for a play like that, just not that one. So puts them in an awkward position. Not the end of the world just yet, but definitely a big win for GENG.
Yep, and these dragons are starting to stack up as well. Oh, is it Earth, Wind, and Fire? That would be a beautiful way to start off our Saturday showdown, would it not? Let's see whether we can all celebrate with it. And it's not. It's Chemtech. And of course, it's Orcs' day off, so he's probably, you know, off doing things and not paying attention. And this is what happens. This is what happens. It's fine. He was also at work yesterday, and it still happened multiple times. It's just a lot of Chemtech these days.
We've been very toxic here in the LCK.
Yeah, it's been very toxic.
We need to talk about it, because I don't like toxicity, Atlas.
I know.
It's not a surprise.
And we're doing what we can, you know. We
try.
Yeah, we at least censor by saying K-word, you know, which I think is great. We did that today.
And you can create space for aiming.
Seismic shove, almost connecting there, is now CHOVY gonna get interrupted! Not able to buffer over that wall, and there goes, even through the redemption, the Tristana, and now Lucid wants even more. Daisy not able to find Bristle and Sejuani, and the seismic shove is flashed, but already the threaded volley is following Canyon. Still keeps himself up, does have those shields, and DPLUS finally on the board.
Big kill there for DPLUS. That alone, not going to be enough. No objective can be taken off of the back of this. They should be able to get a good amount of damage, though. These are the catches that you want to be looking for. You have so much CC on this composition. Whee! With the Sejuani, the Talia, the Alistair. We see it there. The problem is, I don't think they're actually going to be... This is what we talked about earlier. Again,
The siege defense is pretty silly. As Canyon's going to come down, teleport coming in as well, but there's the seismic shove. Arctic Assault going to connect. Headbutt Pole as Kellen gets the welcome, but SHOWMAKER is in so much trouble. CHOVY going to be able to finish him off, and now the damage is gone, and Lehens obviously is here. CHOVY going to answer back immediately, but Kingen, he's teleported in. Lehens not a whole lot of direction to go, and he is going to be taken down as well. So in the end, a pretty even trade between the two. CHOVY's revenge, important.
Unfortunately for DK though, they invest a lot of people towards this, which means that Keen, who is very far behind in the 1v1, and Kingen is going to be even further after display. Keen gets to actually play a little bit of catch-up here in the top side of the map. Going to be able to just parlay.
At that point, Chronicler, I think you might be right there.
Okay, well, it's taking you 20 minutes, but you... Okay, let's talk about the Dragons being taken here.
This is the whole point.
You're looking for the team fight here as DK.
Yeah. Kingen going to jump into the brush here. Doesn't have a lot of Naba, but still they're looking for their opportunity, and this is that control that we were talking about. In the meantime, Keen and SHOWMAKER are just doing battle. Seismic Shove gets the Pirate over the wall, and he gets the solo kill. Can they find the team fight, though, elsewhere? And the answer looks like absolutely not, as Kellen going to be taken down, turned into a stake, as Kingen, he gets to Meganar, but it's way too late. It's all over.
That's the problem with these Meganar compositions, and there I think you're seeing the problem for DK. If you don't find an early mid-game lead, you just don't have the damage. Yeah. SHOWMAKER isn't there, he's one of your biggest damage sources. And then on the flip side, aiming isn't that strong yet. This is a 6 items area, and all the space that's there, he can jump in, make something happen. That could be an angle, but we're starting to see GENG slowly come out as
the smite comes in. Aiming has already skated towards this top side, and he's going to get through this wall as well. So getting the catch onto Keen, absolutely massive here. And DPLUS, they're not going to allow the Lehens effect where the support steals the kill, because every kill goes to aiming if possible. Somebody else to get another one. So it's pretty nutty. Okay, there's the Glacial Prison. That's going to get soaked by Lehens, but he's still going to have to flash that wall to get out. Cannon Barrage comes in, and look at this. Kellen taking so much damage, has to flash to get out of the Solar Flare. And GENG, in the end, I think it's relatively even as far as the exchange is concerned, as now CHOVY flashes the headbutt, pulverize. The Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. That's going to finish off the cow. Daisy falls in amongst it all as the Buster Shot gets SHOWMAKER out of there. Lucid in so much trouble. He's going to get thrown around like a ragdoll, but now Kingen gets the crush. Okay, finally Lehens is going to go down. And DPLUS, they get some control back, but they're still going to lose the trade.
That's the problem. Getting scraps. But GENG are the one eating well. And here, they lose lands. Who cares? Baron is going to get taken. We're going to see the TP come in. They're going to try and contest this as well as they can. I think it's gone. The Econ approach, look at the vision control, look at the brushes.
This is these two Yordles, the Demolition Yordles, pretty good, even at taking down a Baron. Is now SHOWMAKER wanting to get some scraps. Traps them in the wall, actually, as Keen is going to get knocked over. But this is just Operation Escape from GENG, and they might just take themselves a prehistoric Yordle with them on their way out. Keen going to be the sacrificial pirate, and he's going to say "arr," and then it's going to be absolutely fine as GENG walk away with 4 Barons intact.
Oh, DK, their CHOVY goes full psycho, ends up, still being fine because, again, they have so much innate safety. You can play this aggressive pace. Actually playing the Ziggs really well. Like, his repositions, I think, have been standout. And then, Lehens ended up going down, but in the grand scheme of things, nobody really cares about that. The only good thing, again, for DK is that aiming gets, flip it on Elder. Maybe that's the angle now.
Maybe. I mean, Chemtexol, you already illustrated. I mean, as far as compositions that can use it, this is a pretty good one. As now Keen going to find a barrel onto King, and thankfully, that is not the rest of DPLUS as well. His health bar is still pretty large.
Either Keen. Only sitting on 2.5.
Hextech Minefield is actually going to go down. And GENG just holding onto the dragon here, but look at this poke. It is just nuts. And there's the Cannon Barrage. That's going to buy them some space and some time on this Drake. As CHOVY gets over, he's put into prison immediately. Kingen wants to be able to find it, and there's the shove from over the wall. But this time the rocket jump gets out. And now the aiming on the flank angle? I'm not sure about that one. CHOVY's going to get a reset and blow him up. And DPLUS are just falling one after the other. And that is going to be a clean ace outside of Pays getting taken down somewhere in the interim. GENG just making it look easy. Even though there was some heroics, there were more on the side of GENG. As Lehens, he's flashing for it. You know that he's going to look for it, and he does so. SHOWMAKER going to have to answer in kind.
Aiming at 4 items. He one-taps everyone.
Okay, well, we've got supportal combat here, but Canyon is going to make that one an unfair fight. Kingan's already down to 50%, but the Nabbar is in a decent position. This could be a fight that they're looking for, but Kellen taking so much damage. He's going to take Lehens with him. The Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. The circles, ladies and gentlemen, as Solar Flare and the Satchel Charger, too good. Pays is going to lock him down. CHOVY flashes out of the Seismic Shove, gets himself the Trigger Seed. He's not dying. Canyon's going to help out his mid laner. And DPLUS, I mean, it almost got close to being pseudo-okay, but it absolutely was not in the end. And GENG, I don't think they need this Baron. They're just going to win the game.
No Baron needed. No illustrious Elder Flip. Just good old-fashioned team fighting. GENG, see how far ahead they are. They realize the angles, and GENG will still not drop a single game in the LCK Atlas. DK gonna have to go back to drawing board for game number 2.
Yep, they'll have side selection once again, and we'll see whether they're going to be able to figure out a way around a composition like you can play around a Sejuani pick. Humble Life Esports, and they do it probably the best, right? Because they've got the Zeka Yone.
Oh, for sure.
SHOWMAKER's a Yone player as well. We know that he can play this. I mean, he pioneered just picking Yasuo with Sejuani compositions to make that one work as well. Like, this is something that they can certainly do. I want to see just like 2-3 on blue side, just pick Gragas Yasuo and say, we're just going to send it.
Oh my, that's
what I want.
That's not going to happen. If anything, it will be Gragas Yone, because now the Azir gets locked in. Here for CHOVY, I think the Ivern is still pretty certain to follow. Again, GENG in their interviews, they were saying, guys, but this...
Oh, Canyon Italy.
Yeah, the Zyra was also available, but Canyon's going to have some fun. SHOWMAKER's like, haha, I won Worlds with that. That's scary.
Yeah.
Knows better than anyone else. Obviously, the reason why Nidalee came up in the first place, it's an insanely strong matchup.
But he also, I think SHOWMAKER knows. Canyon can always lose on the Nidalee.
You know.
Yeah.
You know very well. And I also want to highlight that Nidalee Azir is not, that doesn't get people going the way that Tristana Ivern did. It's not
this Zeri also not getting me going either. I don't know. I feel like
just not Gnar.
Amy's got plenty of champion pool to get through. I think there are other priorities that they can go towards, and I don't. Yeah, like you say, I don't think it's the Gnar angle.
I love Yone. I think Yone is a great pick here. It works well with the Sejuani. It might get banned away. Otherwise, that's a melee character that SHOWMAKER loves. I'm not gonna. I just not. Yeah, it's the Taliyah again. So again, I want to reiterate. I think Taliyah is a really strong pick. Even, you know, with the changes.
Pretty good into Azir, too.
It's good into Azir. Like, we know that this matchup has a lot of value. It's just that, again, and after that match even more so, Lucid SHOWMAKER is whether or not you're going to win this game. Because if they don't step up against Canyon CHOVY, I think GENG's too good outside of that. I think their wave states are too
magic damage. I think it might just be Ezreal. Or Senna. Okay. Senna going to be locked in. So Tahm Kench, Ornn, both up and available. And so Yuumi. Kellen.
It's gonna be it's fine. So does Kingan pick Ornn here? Because you want to deny it, and like it's fine into Cassandra, and Kingan was one of our best Ornns.
Maybe could they unironically
go Lulu? You go Lulu Ornn.
They could actually just pick Tahm Kench Ornn though, and then just play Zeri Tahm Kench.
Okay, that's not the angle. I think Lulu makes.
Yeah, the Lulu was definitely going to happen.
I really like it. I think it also gives you even more engaged. Just Sejuani alone can be a little bit tough in some situations. Kingan's having a smile on his face. It's going to be like Aatrox.
Or does he just play GP himself? That could be funny.
I
don't know whether he can eat enough oranges to get out of that.
Think about it,
the Camille? You want topside fire, topside power.
Yeah, I like that a lot more.
Yeah, Renekton's fine.
Yeah, it works. Still works. Like, Renekton Taliyah, as strong as we know.
And there's the Ornn.
Yeah, okay, that shouldn't come as a surprise. I would have loved the Ornn. I think the Ornn both gives you more engaged. The one downside is that you do become somewhat lacking in damage, and as good as Taliyah is, I don't feel like she has quite as much damage as something like an Azir would in late game fights, then you're really relying on Zeri.
And top lane priority is something that has been very important, and playing through something in the early game is going to be Huge for DPLUS, so a Renekton being up there and pairing so well with the Sejuani makes a lot of sense.
I like DK's angle way more, both from what they have in draft, and then also, I think Genji's composition is a lot clunkier this time.
And Army in the early game to get control. Let's jump into the rift for game 2. Man, LoL Park absolutely erupting today. And we are on the Genji side as far as the our position and the caster desk is concerned, but DPLUS almost blew the roof off. Like, man, fans out in force. It's absolutely fantastic.
At least just give us a game, DK.
I mean, so we have to ask. Do we have to? I mean, it's DK
gonna
Genji.
happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I mean,
you're right.
Over the last 13 matches, we saw this in the graphic before. There's 13 games for 13 matches.
Yeah, I think they had 3 out of the 13 series not go all the way.
Yeah,
that's not a lot.
Yeah, I think there were 3 zeros on the DK side. Otherwise, like all of them.
It was 1 and 2.
And that means that there's a lot of 3-2 series as well.
I feel like we also have had an unreasonable amount of those involved us in increasingly funny scenarios.
Yeah, increasingly declining hair amount.
Yes, absolutely.
And things like that.
So, coming into this game, what I want to see differently for DK, by the end of it though, Kingen, I think, missed a couple of creeps too many. Also had to back off for a little bit because Kang...
Owie. As CHOVY's going to get flashed into, does have to get away, as that's first blood, and nothing Canyon can do about it. Doesn't find the spear, but even if he did, that would have been doomed. That is a much better start for DPLUS. Yeah, the result was not great.
Maybe it was like... Maybe he thought he could win the extended trade, and if Canyon's there earlier, then... Or he was really close to 6, and he thought he could like dash in, get a minion, and scoop him back. I'm not sure. Might have just been a big goof.
Sneaky Canyon.
That's big though. 3 grubs is quite nice when you have champions like the Azir. It's no Tristana, but you know, nothing is Tristana.
Extender Beam looking a little bit dangerous here, is now aiming in trouble. There's the knock-up. Still aiming just fine. Not a whole lot of damage here in this bottom lane right now. A lot of scuffling.
Oh, I like this. Immediately, the moment you get a lead, try to translate that to side. That's going to zone Lehens out of a lot of experience, King.
Here's the all-out. The trade of ultimates here between Kingen and Keen. Keen keeping close, and there's the flash out. Kingen having to play with a lot of respect. Seismic Shove in this mid lane as well. Keen's favor than I was expecting, though. Playing this matchup well is now... Let's see whether Lehens can keep himself safe, as now Lucid looks for the Winter's Wrath onto Pays. This minion wave getting dealt with, though, and in the meantime, on the top side, Kingen is going to be in trouble. Does get the stun onto Canyon, but he's not the one tanking, so that's going to be a beautiful dive.
Really big wins there for Gen.G. Also tried to throw his ultimate. Pays did end up flashing, but that's a price you're going to be very happy to pay. Nicely set up there towards the top side of the map, and that mid-jungle 2v2, you know, Azir and Italy, that's not the greatest. K'Sante, though, has so much CC that the setup really isn't that tough. Should be able to at least get a dragon here, but DK, they had quite a big gold lead, and between Lehens absorbing that bot side play, Pays not dying, them investing a lot of resources while the bot lane dive worked out for Gen.G, all of a sudden, we're looking at a situation where the gold is even. The timing on this dive, if they do decide to go for it, it's going to be crisp.
Yeah, there's the knock-up onto Kellen. He wasn't taking the turret, though, as there is another one. Lehens going to flash into it, though, and not going to be able to send the ram back. Now, Pays finds himself alone. The spear is just barely going to go wide, and they'll back away. Pays keeps his life. The Canyon's unable to answer, and I say he keeps his life. Aiming still doing a fair bit of work here with these Qs, and takes another plate for his trouble. Emperor's Divide, he skirts the rocks, and SHOWMAKER's going to be fine. It's just a little bit of an exchange, and just trying to make the mid lane matchup look as exciting as the rest of the map.
Nicely done there. The damage, I think, catching them a little bit off guard. This is looking like a 6-grub angle for Gen.G, though, with the control that Keen has had towards this top side. Lucid getting the kills also is somewhat suboptimal, you know? You don't really want the Sejuani to be the one picking them up. Aiming got a kill. If SHOWMAKER got a kill, yeah, it'll be really big there. As another one.
Yeah, there's a bit of deja vu coming on in here. The Glacial Prison comes down. It's Pays that's going to suffer the cost this time, as Lucid capable of tanking this one up for an age and a half. And now they'll take the turret as well. DPLUS. Oh man, it's gone from good to better.
And this time, Ainin gets the kill. The Zeri getting more gold. And DK, this mid-game looking a whole lot better. The main question is, can they also turn it into a second dragon? That would be huge.
We'll take that cooldown, and Aiming says money. And he is going to pick up the minion wave.
Yeah, try and get as many plates as possible as Aiming and Keen, former teammates.
Oh, and this is the
Face off.
counter pick as well. Look at that, it's genius. As Lehens, he's going to bypass the turret, of course, does have, like, see, what did I tell you?
We already talked about it, it's fine.
Yeah. And yeah, Lehens very capable of just meeting up with Canyon in the jungle there, so even though he walks through the turret, surge
that's value.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
So DK already, I guess, knew, because they were like, no, we're not going to go for Drake, try to make a play towards topside instead, which will give them the prio necessary to make a play for this Herald. Definitely going to go their way. They already got the first turret blood, but it'd be really nice if they can break the mid lane turret. Because one of the issues that GENG do have is that a lot of their comp really doesn't come online until they hit the second item, until they hit the necessary levels in case of Lehens, and until they hit you. Maybe King should invest in Worm as well.
Speaking of
CHOVY,
as Pace, he's going to be the one that face checks. Oh dear, that is a very dead center. Tries to get into the mist, but the mist is now a black and white screen. As Kellen's moving on over, they want even more here as the Glitterland slows him down. Kellen is just looking for more. The Emperor's Divide comes down though. The Sun Disc came in and Lehens is going to miss the ulti onto his former teammate. Aiming has downloaded. He knows now as the teleport is coming forward. SHOWMAKER, he's now hiding in the brush. Looking for Canyon, looking for that window. Lucid's going to come in. There's the Weaver's Wall. And of course, Canyon's the one that they want. The pounce over the wall is going to be pretty nice there. So not going to be able to find too much still. DPLUS, front foot forward, and you love to see it. Keen is the one guy that kind of just wins games by himself on it. As I say that, it might be the Caster Curse, or it might be the Blessing as he's going completely bananas onto Aiming here. He gets over the wall, and now Keen has to deal with Lucid coming in with the fadeaway ulti, and that is the kill going over to Kingin.
Yeah, and I know he'd rather give that to Aiming. I think it's a good call.
They're just a bit frustrated.
Just let it go, that's fine.
Drake, and so they'll let it go. They'll now look to grab some extra standing gold on this map.
It's also not soul points, so individual Drake, you're not really going to care too much. And
money for Kingin.
Oh, the Herald coming down as well. This inner will be big, and I love this. When you're playing a composition like this that is looking to generate as much advantages in mid-game as possible, gold is, it's less trustworthy than dragons. But if it works, it really does, as Lehens is just not having a very fun time, getting bullied. They get the inner, give him a dragon, but now the gold lead slowly getting bigger. Again, we're going to get to the point where the stacks kick in, where Lehens is going to
not a lot of range.
It's not. So, there we go.
There's the ulti from Aiming. It's him by himself. He's just going to run up and murder Pace. Kingin getting the same treatment here on this bottom side, but he's giving a lot back. Canyon almost just dying as the Rams being thrown around willy-nilly. And DPLUS, I think, should still be able to get this out of turret.
Bit of a disaster game here for Pace as he goes down yet again. Aiming, going up big. And there isn't really a window, I think, for Nash here. Unfortunately, too many of the big damage dealers on GENG are still alive, but it's going to be the mid lane turret. It's also, it's going to be hard to play out, but you do make up for it.
Kingin's going for this 1v1. He's a level behind, but he's still playing.
SHOWMAKER STP as well.
There's the wall, and Keen gets the bad news. Let's see, the all-out going to be used onto the Talia here, but the stun is still going to come on down. Sterix is massive, and the threaded volley to finish it off. And there's another kill, now 3 over to this Renekton, who's feeling a lot more relevant as the game goes on.
Really like this play, because with double TP, there isn't a window. They will still have to give up mid lane turret, maybe to TP!
Yeah, Glacial Prison comes in onto Canyon. Redemption is decent.
It's true!
And now both of them getting into the mid lane. CHOVY's out of there, but I don't think Lehens is going to be so lucky. In fact, the whole bottom lane is getting wiped out. Pace once again suffering as the dash forward. Lucid going to pick that one up. And with 3 dead on the side of GENG, it's going to need to be some Canyon heroics to save this Baron play.
DK, GENG, Atlas.
Oh, it always delivers. There was no doubt in our minds.
Oh, the damage. CHOVY's full health. I don't know if they can do this.
They are not. I think they're not going to test the waters this much. As Keen, he's teleported in. CHOVY wants it. Emperor's Divide onto 3. And he goes golden as well. Canyon has to get out of there. The seismic shove is just as good. And he takes down the Zeri. CHOVY almost falling for it as the spear will take down one. And Kellen, oh man, he just takes that Dawning Shadow from downtown. And now it's GENG's turn.
Those Baron buffs a couple of patches ago. GENG says thank you. As, DK, just a little bit too early. They don't have the health bars.
I love this vision toggle though, as they haven't started up the Baron just yet. There it goes now, as all 5 are in the area.
Yeah,
they need to get Lucid out of here.
I don't think it's happening. I think that's going to be the Baron going over to GENG instead. Oh, DK! It was looking so good until it wasn't.
Yeah, until it absolutely wasn't. And DK, they realize they're not going to be able to do it here. You can see SHOWMAKER a little bit disappointed, but I think not feeling like they're out of this game.
And then I understand they get the kills. They want to try and go for the play as I think they know.
Yeah, there's a Ram coming in as well. As speaking of Ram, he is going to head right on top of Kel, and Canyon looking for him though. The Wild Growth is going to keep the Lulu alive. Actually buys a lot of time here for DPLUS. SHOWMAKER, he'll get cornered. He's the sacrificial Talia in this one. Steric Shield going to get popped there by CHOVY. And DPLUS, I can feel the collapse in these last 2 moments.
Oh, GENG. They haven't lost a single game yet in the LCK. This
Not looking
summer,
like
they're
it's
not
starting.
looking like they're beginning. Lucid with the attempt.
All right, let's see whether he gets on in there. Is aiming. All right, there's the double knockback from Keen as Lucid's the one pulled in. Oh, Keen, I think he wanted the Zeri on that one. But CHOVY is doing CHOVY things. Not the last chance for DPLUS to find some revenge.
As yeah, the upgrade comes through for CHOVY. We haven't talked about this.
Yeah, they killed Baron, and then CHOVY went and got a cooler tooth, I think, from the Baron when they did that. That's like the canon of this game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Very, very cool. There is it's just great how that kind of works. The Ornn, not really that important.
Long Sim, can they kill the hands?
Oh,
That
yeah.
would be huge.
He doesn't have Call of the Forge God. He is going to be able to bellow his breath and try and get himself out of the way, but the Seismic Shove is decent still. He's just so incredibly tanky. Teleport going to be invested from King, and Lucid not really taking that much, but they threw everything into an Ornn who just wandered away casually.
Hope that that's enough.
I mean, they
Lucid's
can kill
basically a support.
whoever's first in line very quickly. Pays like you, aiming like you said, has 4 items.
Yeah, flip Nash.
Yeah.
Why not? You have to.
I mean, that's bounty gold as well. You take those. Aiming with his very new, very cool-looking sword is going to be pretty dangerous. Seismic Shove going to be eaten by the CC reduction from Keen. And now, King in a whole host of trouble. There's the Ram, gets a couple of knockups onto Lucid and Kel, and DK still kind of holding their ground. But GENG are unrelenting. SHOWMAKER taking so much damage. Dawning Shadow over everyone, and it's a bloodbath! It's decimation! And the Zeri is just escorted to the side and blown up. It's unceremonious, and it's looking like GENG will just plow through DPLUS today. There's the ace. Canyon looks really cool as he goes golden. Wins the animal battle on the top side, and that's going to be it.
And the undefeated round robin yet again closer for GENG Atlas.
CHOVY didn't use ult, he just celebrated with it on the Nexus. Oh man, GENG demonstrating they're not even at full power as they eliminate the second Nexus of the Saturday Showdown. And they will remain